Hey everybody, welcome back with your host Joseph
and Carlos.
And this is The Passenger Seat. Alright, so we're back with our third video, not episode 3, our third video of the month of October.
Yes.
With our Spooktacular array of videos. Spooktacular.
So in this specific video, we're going to touch upon some 90s television shows, and I know you guys saw a recent video of ours talking about 90s television shows, but this one is specifically about spooky television shows from the 90s.
Not all of them. I just want to throw out there, one of the shows is not spooky. Just one of them is not spooky, and that's because we wanted to throw it in there because the facts or the fun facts of that show actually commingled with the majority of the shows we're actually going to talk about today. And well, we thought it was pretty funny, so we just wanted to throw it in there.
So we hope to bring some nostalgia to you guys when we mention these these shows. And hope you enjoy this whole video.
Yeah, cool. And we're starting off with I don't want to wait for our lives to be over.
This is the one we were talking about, by the way.
Dawson's Creek.
It's not as spooky.
Yeah, it's not spooky at all. Unless you consider teen drama spooky.
I don't know. Have you seen Riverdale?
I don't know. As you get older, you just... my God. As you get older, you see teen drama is scarier and scarier. Because teens become scary.
Yeah.
Those dang kids. Dawson's Creek started in premiered in January 20th, 1998. And it ran all the way till It ran all the way to May 14th, 2003. It's a series about the lives of a close-knit group of friends, and pretty much
like your average television show, like your average teen drama show.
It starts in high school and it goes all the way throughout college. The series, this is funny. This is one of the things I wanted to point out.
Okay.
You know where the series was set?
Washington?
In Cape Side, Massachusetts.
So this takes place in It takes place around Massachusetts. Wait, what'd you say, Felix?
Really? I didn't know Dawson's Creek was filmed there, though. I thought it was filmed like somewhere in California.
It takes place in. Like the story takes place in. It's set in Massachusetts.
Oh, never mind.
I just thought the setting would be funny. Mattress
what?
Massachusetts. I don't remember what you said. Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Mass institutions. So yeah, do you remember Dawson's Creek?
No. I'm gonna be really honest. I remember like seeing like the commercials, and if you walk inside a Blockbuster, there was like the DVD set, but I've never watched it.
Okay.
Ever.
I remember watching it like probably as a tyke, like 4 or 5 years old.
What?
4 or 5 years old. I think my brother used to watch it, and that's where I remember it from. And I remember the song to a T.
Oh yeah, the song. Yeah.
The intro, and it's kind of embarrassing because when as I got older, that song came into my head one day, and I was one of those people who would like look up on Google based on sounds.
Oh, I remember.
Okay, Google search.
Get on that LimeWire.
Yeah. Oh, that LimeWire. Jesus Christ, that takes me back. Okay, so we're gonna keep that one short because it's not relevant with the spooky themes, right? But a couple of fun facts. Katie Holmes, she starred as one of the main characters in the show Joey Potter.
What?
Joey Potter. That was her name.
Joey Potter.
Joey Potter. Joey Potter. Kevin Williamson, the creator of the show, he actually wrote the screenplay, and this is kind of interesting because it does tie in with the spooky stuff.
Okay.
He wrote the screenplay for all the Scream movies.
Really?
Plus, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense because a lot of those movies are connected in that sense. Because the whole slasher teeny bopper type thing movies. It was a big thing in the 90s, including Jeepers Creepers and all those type of stuff.
Yeah. So see, it does tie into the spooky stuff.
There you go.
Yep.
That one thing.
Okay. You might want to remember some of those facts for further ahead. Trust me.
All right, that was Dawson's Creek. Now on to our next TV show, and maybe one that you guys will remember because this is a spooky show, is Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Well, are you? Punk.
This premiered in 1990, right in the start of the 90s, lasting for 7 seasons, so all the way to 97. This show, its premise is these kids, every start of the episode, they sit in front of the campfire, and they'd start off, and one of them would be like, I got a story for you today.
That sounds so wrong. Hey, Billy, I've got a story for you today.
They were called the Midnight Society. I don't know why they were called that, but apparently that's what the kids called themselves. So every episode was something new and different, and a different monster, different story, and it just ran like that for seven seasons. I believe they had the first actors, and then they changed them after the 5th season, or they changed them various times because it's meant to be kids, and some of them will get older. Right. It's actually a Canadian show, but it got picked up by Nickelodeon.
Like Degrassi.
Like Degrassi.
We'll talk about that eventually.
Yes. The creator was DJ Maxwell and Ned Kindle. They were inspired by the Twilight Zone, which is pretty surprising because, well, it's not that surprising, I guess, because it has the same formula.
Yeah.
The Twilight show is just a little bit more serious. This was meant for kids, so it was scary if you're a kid. As an adult, you'll probably be like,
yeah, it's whatever. Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, they rebooted the series back in 2019, and they're still going on for 2020.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Do you remember watching that show?
I do remember watching.
Do you remember any specific monsters?
No.
No? I can't seem to remember any specific monsters.
There was 3, right? One of them is a show we're going to talk about later. We won't say its name. And then there was another one, other than Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh, the Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt.
Crypt. Yeah, and
Tales from the Crypt.
And then the original from the 80s was the Creep Show.
Creep Show is the one I'm thinking about.
That's the one who sort of started the anthology stuff.
Was Creep Show the one where there was that one episode where a dude is like, I think he's afraid of bugs or something, and he gets into like a totally contaminated free room, and they start pouring in his room?
I actually think that might have been the other series that we're going to talk about later.
No.
It wasn't that?
No.
It was Creep Show?
It was either Creep Show or Tales from the Crypt. One of the two.
I was going to say, they also rebooted Creep Show. Now, fun fact, the title of the series was inspired by one of the few scary stories of Dr. Seuss.
Oh, shoot, from Dr. Seuss's darker side.
I actually found that very interesting.
By the way, if you don't know about that, go check it out. Dr. Seuss had... he pretty much had to have a front, right, for like kids with his writing. But he has a much darker side.
I think you showed me that.
Yeah, and I don't remember what it's called, but look it up. Trust me, some of the coolest artwork. Yeah, no, for real. Some of the coolest artwork you'll see is actually part of that, and yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting.
Another fun fact. Every episode they would start by being in front of the fire, and all 7 seasons they'll never show a kids lighting the fire. And it was because Nickelodeon did not want to show kids how to light fires. So they just wanted them just sort of just arrive and the fire was already set.
Wasn't it like a big thing, and it still is, where parents take their kids camping and they
have, Boy Scouts,
and they have have to show them these survival skills.
They just didn't want Nickelodeon didn't want to be liable.
Shame
essentially,
on you,
that's sort of That's fun fact of it, and this will actually tie into the next series I'll talk about. For each season, it only took 2 or 3 weeks to film. 13 episodes in 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow, that's really fast.
Yep, because all they did was, as soon as the kids got in front of the campfire, they would start every intro and outro in one day.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, they would start filming every single monster episode. So that way they got the part with the kids done.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got for Are You Afraid of the Dark? So make sure to check that one out.
Yep, and that takes us to our next show. And many of you might remember seeing this on Disney growing up.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And that's Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yep, I definitely remember Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yep.
Also got rebooted. God, they reboot everything.
Whoa, first of all, that Sabrina reboot is pretty bomb.
I'm just saying.
I've only watched the first season, but it is...
Let's do a reboot Dawson's Creek too.
Why?
Just saying.
I don't know. I just feel like I'm okay. Let's not get into it. But Sabrina the reboot was really cool. We'll get more into that. But yeah, so Sabrina premiered September 27th of 1996. And the show follows Sabrina Smellman.
Dang, though. Yeah.
Yep. American teenager who, on her 16th birthday, discovers she has magical powers.
Full name.
Right. And then
You're a wizard.
You're a wizard, Sabrina. No, so she discovers she has magical powers at the age of 16. She lives with her Aunt Hilda and Zelda.
God, dude, I remember that too.
Yeah.
God.
And they're talking magical.
Speaking of memories.
Yeah, and they're talking magical cat Salem.
Yes.
And if some of you remember the show, it was more of a comedic sort of feel.
I remember that.
Sort of sitcom to it. Whereas the reboot is much, much darker.
Yeah.
It's very dark, very a lot of satanic sort of.
Is it the same creators?
Implications. I think they are, because they do have like a sort of like a Easter egg for Riverdale in the show.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure there's like a. I don't know. I haven't watched it. Never mind.
Okay, so you know where they live? They live in a.
Winchville?
No, they live in a fictional Boston suburb in Massachusetts. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
In Massachusetts.
I'm not gonna live that one down.
No. Okay, yeah. So for me personally, growing up, I used to watch a lot of Disney.
It was on Disney, wasn't it?
I believe for a portion of its running, yeah, for its air. I used to watch it on Disney or whatever channel it was on. And yeah, for me, I thought the show was really cool. I like the idea of the sitcom.
Yeah, definitely. It gives you that vibe. It gives me that feeling of what can I compare it to? Because it's like a sitcom, but with all the spooky stuff mixed into it. It reminds me a lot of Halloween Town. For those of you who remember that movie.
Yeah.
In Disney.
Also Disney. Yep.
But yeah, I do remember. I'm always gonna remember Salem.
Yeah.
And his funny voice.
Yeah, and he was pretty witty too.
Yeah, he was.
So a few fun facts. Did you know where Sabrina sort of originated from or came from?
Massachusetts.
No, not Massachusetts. It actually originated from an Archie comic of the same name.
Oh, okay. So they're in the same universe. Same as
essentially, yeah.
Same as the Pussycats. There was another comic series that's also attached to Archie, and she also appears in the show. I think it's Josie and the Pussycats. Yeah.
Josie and the.
Yeah, they're all connected.
So, Sabrina and Salem, those two characters appear in all 163 episodes of the show.
I mean,
they're the only two characters who appear in every single episode of the show. It's called Sabrina. Duh. But Salem's not included in that. It's not Sabrina and Salem.
Hey,
he still shows up.
Salem's the boss.
Ryan Reynolds actually appears in the show as Sabrina's love interest.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, interesting stuff. Go check that out.
Dang. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
that Canadian bastard.
I believe it was those times where they were trying to, they were starting out their acting career and they were just
you'll actually notice that in the early 90s, a lot of stars did.
And then my last fun fact is going to be that Salem was played by 3 different cats and a puppet.
Okay, so just every time he moves, it's a cat, and then every time he talks, it's a puppet.
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe that's how it worked. Yeah, it's the one that makes more sense. I don't think they sat a cat down and just sort of talk, Jerry, talk.
Wait, who names the cat Jerry? The only thing I remember is one of the, and I didn't look this up. I just remember it in the new adaptation of Sabrina Teenage Witch. The actress turned out allergic to the cat, and they had to put a CGI cat because she wasn't able to stand beside Salem.
Yeah. So speaking on that reboot, it's really dark. If you like the idea of watching like a very in-depth sort of show about witches and witchcraft and
it's like Supernatural.
Yeah, like sort of like Supernatural. Very, very gritty. And I really enjoyed the first season. I haven't got around to watching the other 2.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's really good. I recommend it to anyone who sort of wants to get back into that Sabrina vibe.
Yeah, especially for the month of Halloween. The month of Halloween. You should definitely watch stuff like that. I'm already starting on my list. Mm-hmm. All right, so does that conclude?
That does. That concludes my segment for Sabrina.
Sabrina. On to our next TV show, one that you guys will probably remember very fondly because it's probably one of the biggest horror shows for the 90s, and that is Goosebumps. Actually, I didn't add that in my notes, but one of the fun facts that I found was that theme was composed in the airport. He was one of the guys was waiting for 5 hours for his flight, and he just played around. This show started in 1995, but as you guys know, it is a book series, and that started in 1992. This book series was created by R.L. Stine. That actually stands for Robert Lawrence Stine. He created numbers of books. I didn't really tally that up, but it's just a lot of books.
Yeah,
a lot of different stories. He would actually write the title of each story and then write the plot. That's how he would write his books.
That's interesting. It gives you sort of a foundation to sort of...
Yeah, it sort of popped in his head, and then he was like, okay, if I decide on the haunted mirror, then you can sort of create a story of just that one title.
Yeah.
Just like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Every novel that he released, it only took him 3 weeks to make. Every single one of them.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The TV show ran for, I believe, about 5 seasons. Every episode is just like an anthology series. Every episode is something different monster, different scary story. There was no real intro like that. There was a theme song intro where you see with the suitcase and the papers go flying.
Dang, I remember that. And what about there was a dog in the intro, right?
Yes, it was, where his eyes light up like he was a demon.
Did he bark in the way of the song, or am I just tripping?
I don't think.
Go,
no.
Okay.
He didn't do that. He dropped some rap.
Mandela effect.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I guess it's your average anthology series, but it became big.
Yeah,
it was huge in the 90s.
Growing up a little bit on Goosebumps and reading some of the books, having some of the books.
Yeah, they got picked up. I don't remember exactly the right channel, but I believe later it premiered in Cartoon Network for a short period of time there. But yeah, it was pretty great. I mean, I think it was pretty great. I'm always gonna remember Goosebumps. They rebooted it, but not in a TV series. The Jack Black movies.
Oh yeah.
Number 1 and 2. Funny enough, it was always aimed for kids. This isn't one of those adaptations where they adapted it for kids. His books were always aimed for kids. He started writing since the age of 9. And fun fact, anytime someone asked him what was your inspiration for creating Goosebumps, he would literally just say, I just like to scare kids. That was his answer all the time. I just like to scare kids. So I thought that was pretty funny. One of the main not main characters, but one of the most reoccurring characters in the show, which everyone probably remembers if you think Goosebumps, is Slappy.
Yeah.
The puppet. Not puppet, what do you call that?
Dummy.
The dummy. Yes, his first start was, I believe, the Night of the Living Dummy. Kind of a play on words to the Night of the Living Mummy. And he is one of the characters that appeared more than 3 times, I believe. And funny enough, they could never keep track of his size. In different episodes, one he would be a ventriloquist dummy.
Okay.
Massachusetts. Yeah. In other episodes, he would be the same size as a human. And he would vary in size, and they'll never explain why.
That would creep me out so bad.
Just
life-size dummy.
They actually lost track, and
wow.
Different directors wanted different sizes for him, and they never really explained why. So they just came up with he's magic. You know,
Magic.
it is what it is. One other fun fact is Goosebumps in China is translated to chicken skin. Makes a lot of sense though.
Well, isn't the thing you get when you say you got goosebumps is sort of like chicken skin?
Who says that?
I don't know.
I
I remember reading something like that somewhere.
That's actually really funny. But yeah, that's all I got for Goosebumps. I don't really have that. I found a lot of facts, but none of them as interesting. There was some that was like, oh, some of the actors were related and stuff like that, but nothing really big that came out of it. It was more info about the books than the TV series.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
So, on to the next one.
To our last one. And that's going to be...
I do not remember the theme song.
Okay. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You sing the theme song, I'm not going to remember it. I'm just like...
That's fine. So Buffy
the Vampire
Slayer.
Yeah.
It first aired March 10th of 1997.
Yeah.
Ran all the way to May 20th of 2003. And it started on WB.
WB.
Dang. Yeah. It follows the story of Buffy Summers, who is one in a long line of women who are chosen to be something called a Slayer, or Vampire Slayers. Referred to as Slayers.
Okay.
Basically, they fight vampires, werewolves, demons.
All types. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if werewolves. It's vampires, demons, and all other forces of evil. Yeah, so Buffy, for me, I used to watch a lot of Buffy.
I actually did not. I would skim through it when it would come on, because I believe they started putting it on ABC Family.
I think so.
Alongside Charm and all those shows. Yeah.
I think they did change networks every now and then, but I grew up, not grew up, but I remember watching Buffy a lot. Especially on summer vacations, I used to just chill out. No, seriously.
Okay. I believe you.
I'd be, I don't know, let's say Florida with my dad, and we'd be, or at least I'd be watching Buffy. And yeah, I'd watch that. Angel was another one.
Oh, I do remember. That was the spin-off series.
Spawned from Buffy. And yeah, I thought it was a really cool show. As a kid, you see all this really spooky stuff. Well, not spooky, but more like just dark stuff.
Okay.
And I thought that was cool. All the fantasy aspects of it.
Okay.
Weirdly enough, the vampires didn't really look like vampires. They had that scrunched up face that looked like a pig.
Really?
Yeah, their faces were really...
Like a bat? Like they try to make them look more like a bat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you might.
I think they did the same thing with Blade.
It was weird, but you know what? You were a kid. You didn't really think about that type of stuff.
Sparkle.
So, the show.
Okay.
Is funny enough, it's a sequel to a movie that was also released before it started.
Okay.
So here's one of the interesting facts, and this is why I told you to remember the fun facts from the other shows that we were talking about.
Are you uniting Boston again?
So, Katie Holmes, who played Joey Potter on Dawson's Creek, and Ryan Reynolds were almost starred in the show. They almost starred in the show.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting, right?
They almost starred in the show of Buffy?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were almost like, main characters. So, Katie Holmes, who was on Dawson's Creek, and then Ryan Reynolds,
who was on Sabrina.
So interesting how everything sort of commingles,
Yeah, I think that actually Buffy, a lot of those actors went on to star in Smallville.
Yeah.
That includes the actor of Spike. He was Brainiac in Smallville. The actor of Angel, or whatever you call him, he was just an FBI agent.
So yeah, Buffy's adventures actually continues in a comic book.
That makes sense. I feel like all the shows we just talked about, right? Except for Dawson's Creek,
yeah.
Was sort of continued on in some book or comic book series. Happens a lot.
Yeah. And my last fun fact to sort of close it out. So the creators of the show actually wanted to make an animated series of Buffy.
Actually, I think that would have been really cool.
I do too.
Also depends on the animation too. Like if they would have made it and then have this like really cool animation, because sometimes the early 2000s did not have the greatest animation. So
that's true.
So it's kind of hard.
I think it'd be a good idea to do now.
Yeah.
I'm
actually very surprised they haven't rebooted Buffy.
Yeah.
Or even tried.
I mean, Buffy was a good show.
Yeah, but everything's, I don't know. Maybe.
Everything's being rebooted. You'd
rebooted.
expect it to. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, because they even rebooted Charm.
Yeah.
So I'm like...
You'd expect it to get rebooted, but I don't know. I guess not.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Reboot it. We hope you enjoyed the shows that we had for you today. Hopefully they were spooky enough.
And nostalgic enough.
True.
Do hope you guys enjoy this whole month for Halloween. Enjoy it with your families, watch scary movies, watch scary TV shows, and subscribe, whole thing.
Make sure to, if you liked what we're doing, go ahead and let us know. Like, subscribe, help us out. Help two dudes out. And hopefully you enjoyed this ride with us, and hopefully you can join us next time here in
The Passenger Seat. Massachusetts.
Mass institutions.
Massive two tits?
Yep. Massive two tits.